Afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Sorry this video is a little bit later than it normally is. I've been sick. You can probably tell my voice is still a bit raspy. I actually basically lost my voice for a couple of days, which is a bit rough. A politician who can't talk is pretty sad, or it's good for some people, I guess, depending on what you think we've got to say. But yeah, so we are less than 2 weeks to go. In fact, it's the 1st of October today, so it's 7 days until you need to have your voting papers in the mail in order to make it back in time for election day, which is the 12th of October, so not too far to go. So make sure you get those voting papers away if you haven't already. And speaking of voting papers, the turnout so far has been pretty low. Overall, out of Auckland, it's sitting around 9%, or just under 10%. Which isn't particularly good. Last election it was 40% overall, and there's still, there's a week and a bit to go, but that's still pretty low, which is quite concerning. It's really important that people engage, and the postal process is clunky, it's slow, so people have posted their voting papers off recently, probably haven't been received yet, so they haven't been counted, but it's a bit of a concern for me, and I think it suggests that there are bigger issues with our system, but also perhaps with the candidates who are standing. And I know, talking to a lot of people, their concerns are that the mayoral candidates aren't particularly inspiring, or they're not grabbing their attention. They're not really sure who to vote for. Can understand that. I was at a mayoral debate last week, and there was not much difference between them. Ultimately, you've got to make a decision, or not. You can actually vote for council and for your local board members without actually specifying a mayor, or DHB if you don't want to as well. Those decisions are up to you. I think it's really important that you have your say and that you feel that you've voted in what you think is the best decision, and the person you want to represent you, or the people you want to represent you. But if you don't feel that there's a candidate for mayor or for DHB, for council, for local board that represents you, then you don't have to vote for those positions. But it is really important that you do vote for the positions that you do want to. And I think that's a really important message to get out there. Things like transport, the environment, the way that your footpaths are maintained, the parks are looked after, the community facilities, all of these things that we engage with on a daily, weekly basis, are really important to us, are governed by council at varying levels, from the councillors down to local board, and it's really important that we get a good representation. We'll only get good representation if people actually engage and vote in the process. Appreciate it's a little bit complicated, there's lots of candidates out there, but there are some good resources out there. The spin-off's got a Policy Local, which is a website you can go to, put your address in, it'll tell you all the candidates that are standing for your area, and each candidate was invited to provide a little bit of information about what they were standing for, what's important to them, and it's kind of helpful because it's sort of a one-stop place you can check and see what's going on. There are other tools out there as well. There was one that Auckland Council did, which was a little bit more general, and there's been scorecards by different groups and organisations as well. I'll put some links down below if you're interested. Check them out, but most importantly, engage with that process. So I think that's what we'll leave it with. What I would be interested in actually is, if you have voted, what made you vote, what was the thing, and I'd love to hear your responses. Post them down below or get in touch. Or if you haven't voted, or you're not thinking of voting, be really interested in what the reasoning is what's the cause, and what would change that, what would make you think, no, I would vote, either this time or next time. I'm interested as a candidate, but also as a voter, I guess, as well, wanting to understand what motivates people and what doesn't, because even at 40%, that's a pretty bad turnout. So we want to get that numbers up, we want to get people engaged, and I think there's some underlying issues that we need to deal with. So really keen. And lastly, I've got my last conversation with your candidate happening this coming Sunday. So from 2 till 4, up in Bucklands Beach at the Bucklands and Eastern Beaches Memorial Hall. It's 48 The Parade. It's right on Bucklands Beach there. It's a beautiful spot. So if you've got some time and you still haven't decided who you're going to vote for, just the 6th of October, you're leaving it close, but if you're still not sure, 2 till 4, pop in anytime you feel like. I'll be there with coffee, biscuits, that important stuff, and we can just have a good old chat. Anything you want to talk about, any issues or concerns you've got. So we're running those sessions over the past couple of months, 2 in each of the areas for the past couple of weeks, and finishing up in Bucklands Beach on Sunday. So again, I'll chuck a link down below. Love to have you along if you're free. Otherwise, have a good week, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.